25 people simply vanished from a supposedly unsinkable ship. On October 3, 1955, the MV Joyita was discovered drifting in the South Pacific, 5 weeks overdue, with no sign of her crew or passengers. The radio was silent. The life rafts were gone. But the mystery runs far deeper than just a missing crew. When the authorities finally boarded the vessel, they found something that defied every law of maritime logic. The ship had been abandoned, yet the cargo was intact, and the engine room was a graveyard of technical failures that shouldn't have occurred simultaneously. You are looking at a vessel that was found floating, partially submerged, yet technically incapable of sinking. How could a 70-ton ship, built with airtight buoyancy chambers designed to keep it afloat even if completely flooded, be found in such a derelict state? To understand the horror, we must go back to the departure from Apia, Samoa. 25 souls boarded this vessel, led by Captain Thomas Dusty Miller. They were headed for the Tokelau Islands. They never arrived. For weeks, the ocean remained a blank canvas. When search planes finally spotted the wreck, the sight was haunting. The Joyita was listing heavily to port. Her bridge was stripped of vital equipment. The life rafts were missing. But there were no bodies. No bloodstains. No signs of struggle. Just a pervasive sense of emptiness that felt deliberate. Let's dive into the technical impossibility. The Joyita was packed with thousands of pounds of cork and balsa wood. It was physically impossible for this ship to sink. Yet, it sat low in the water, as if the ocean itself was trying to claim it. When the investigators tore through the logs, they found that the radio had been tampered with. Someone had rewired it, rendering it useless for any distress call. Why would a crew sabotage their only lifeline in the middle of the Pacific? Some argue it was insurance fraud. Others point to a darker narrative involving political smuggling. There are claims that the ship intercepted a Japanese naval exercise, and the crew witnessed something they weren't meant to see. A chilling discovery was made inside the cabin, a doctor's bag with bloody bandages, but no remains to explain the source of the blood. It was as if the ship had been scrubbed clean by something, or someone, that didn't want a trace left behind. The engine room held its own secrets. The pipe leading to the bilge pump was missing, meaning the ship couldn't pump out water. This wasn't an accident, it was a modification. A modification made while at sea. Imagine the scene: the waves are relentless, the radio is dead, and you realize the very vessel protecting you from the abyss is slowly failing due to human intervention. Who was left on board at the end? Did they jump? Were they taken? The sheer silence of the Pacific is deafening when you realize that not a single survivor was ever recovered. Not a scrap of clothing. Not a single boot. The sea keeps its secrets well, but the Joyita stands as a testament to the fact that sometimes, the most terrifying monsters aren't in the deep, but in the choices made by those on the deck. As the authorities searched for answers, they were met with bureaucratic wall building and missing files, adding a layer of conspiracy to the already tragic event. Could the crew have been abducted by a foreign submarine? The rumors persisted for decades. Some locals in the Tokelau Islands whispered of phantom lights seen on the horizon the night the ship drifted into the reef. It wasn't just a maritime disaster, it was a complete erasure of humanity. As we piece together the timeline, the gaps only grow wider. If the crew left the ship, they did so in an area of the ocean known for predatory sharks and unpredictable currents. The chances of survival, even with a raft, were statistically zero. Yet, no debris was ever found. No life jacket washed ashore. It's as if the 25 passengers were plucked from existence by an unseen hand. We are left with a vessel that serves as a tomb without a body. The MV Joyita remains the Pacific's greatest ghost story, a puzzle with half the pieces missing and the rest rearranged to mislead those who dare to investigate. The truth of that night in 1955 remains trapped in the salt and the silt. Every detail of the Joyita's final voyage points toward a calculated, cold-blooded event, yet the motive stays buried. If you are ever at sea and see a vessel that looks perfect from a distance, remember the Joyita. It teaches us that safety is often just an illusion held together by thin layers of paint and blind hope. The history books call it a mystery, but those who study the archives know better. it was a message. And that message was never delivered, because the messengers were wiped off the face of the earth. We might never know exactly what happened, but the questions remain louder than the waves that eventually claimed the ship's remains. If this haunting mystery left you questioning the safety of the open ocean, you need to watch our deep dive into the unexplained disappearance of the USS Cyclops. You might think you know what happened to that ship, but the reality is far more disturbing than the legends suggest. After all, if a ship as sophisticated as the Joyita could vanish without a trace, what hope is there for the rest of us? Think about it. If you were the captain, and your radio was suddenly disconnected while in the middle of nowhere, would you trust your crew, or would you suspect the person standing right next to you? It's a terrifying thought, but it is the reality of the open ocean. And that is only where the nightmare begins.